we are talking about eligibility for Czech citizenship. And I know that you've worked in this space for a couple of years now, and you're very knowledgeable. But it is a complex area of law, yeah? Am I right?
It definitely is, because we need to consider that all the previous Czech citizenship laws, although they are not technically in force, we still need to consider them, because, for example, if the person was born in the 60s, we need to take a look what Czech or Czechoslovak citizenship laws applied back then. So we basically need to know all the previous Czech and Czechoslovak citizenship laws back until 19th century, actually. So yeah, it's pretty complex.
So let's sort of chunk it up and break it up for people to be able to get their heads around. And I remember we wrote this internal guide to Czech citizenship eligibility, and it nearly killed us, right? We worked many evenings, many hours to try and really get to the bottom of everything. So can you tell us a little bit about Czech history in the context of citizenship? So when was the first law enacted, and a little bit of background information, if you don't mind.
So first citizenship technically in our geographical area was created in 19th century, but it was Austria-Hungarian citizenship. So that's, you know, something a little bit different. But when actually Czechoslovakia was created in 1918, that's when the first Czechoslovak citizenship law was introduced. And this is also the point where Czechoslovak identity was formed. So when we have clients, for example, and their ancestors were Czechoslovak, it's actually the same for them to be Czech or Slovak, because later the Czechoslovakia split up between Czech and Slovak.
Yeah, this is a bit that really confuses people sometimes. So I'm going to stop you there for a minute, because every night, you know, Czechoslovakia as a country stopped existing in 1993, right? And people still talk about Czechoslovakia, so I don't know. But it is now currently two different countries and two different identities, right?
That's right, and also two different citizenships. So we always need to take a look where your ancestors came from, because, for example, a lot of clients know that their ancestors came from Czechoslovakia, but when we are going to look into archives, we actually find out that they came from what is today Slovakia.
Right.
So that makes quite a difference. So they are, for example, eligible for Slovak citizenship instead of Czech. Yeah. So we used to be one country for almost 80 years, but we are not anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we need to take a look always if it's Czech or Slovak citizenship.
And when I was working with you on this guide, one of the surprising things that I learned actually was that you cannot be both Czech and Slovak, or very few people are both, right? Because it's a mutually exclusive legislation at the moment, yeah? That's
right. As usual, there are some exceptions, but there are very few of them. So basically, when Czechoslovakia was split up between Czech or divided between Czech and Slovak Republic, people had to choose if they want to become Czech or Slovak. And if they, if they didn't choose any, there was a law which basically said, okay, so this person was born in the Czech Republic, so he's Czech, and vice versa. So basically, they were trying to prevent people from becoming Czech and Slovak. So the only way how you can be a Czech and Slovak, both Czech and Slovak, is actually if you are a child of both Czech and Slovak citizens. So if you have Czech mom and Slovak dad, that's my generation. But for people who were born before 1993, they actually cannot choose if they want to be Czech or Slovak.
Interesting.
Or they could, they could, but not both. Sorry, that's
right. So you can either be one or the other. And
yeah, exactly.
We, go back to the eligibility for a minute. There are also people that were born in Czechoslovakia and cannot get citizenship. And I guess it's fair to say that it's for geopolitical reasons, right? Who are they? Can you shed some light?
Well, because, for example, in the United States, there is a birthright citizenship. So if you are born in the American soil, you are automatically becoming a Czech citizen. But here we have a right of blood, which means that even if you are born in the Czech Republic, that doesn't mean that you are automatically a Czech citizen. your parents basically need to be, or at least one of your parents need to be Czech citizen.
Mhm.
So if you, for example, have, I don't know, parents from United Kingdom and you were born in Prague, that unfortunately doesn't mean that you are eligible for Czech citizenship. It means
Yeah.
you will have easier, conditions for naturalization, but it's not like when you will have Czech birth certificate also and so on, but you won't have Czech citizenship automatically.
Yeah. And what about Germans and Hungarians? Or is that a bit of a tough topic? Oh,
It definitely is. Well, a lot of people have ancestors who were Czechoslovak citizens before the Second World War, but after the Second World War, there was a presidential decree or a few presidential decrees. They basically revoked their Czechoslovak citizenship for the Czechoslovak Germans and Czechoslovak Hungarians.
so ethnically
they were-
Germans or Hungarians, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, ethnically and linked also by language, but they were Czechoslovak citizens, but they spoke German, for example, and on that basis, their citizenship was usually revoked in 1945, and they were expelled to Germany. And there is a still law in the Czech Republic that, unfortunately, these people and their descendants are not eligible for Czech citizenship by birth. I mean, they can naturalize in the Czech Republic as anyone else, but unfortunately, they are not considered to have Czechoslovak heritage.
Yeah, not through birth anyway.
Mhm.
Okay, interesting. So just to summarize, when you assess people's eligibility, the first thing you look at is, do you have Czech heritage or Czechoslovak heritage? Where does the person's, and where do they come from? Their ancestors, right? Would be the second thing. Because you may be Czech, but born in Slovakia or vice versa. So it's all a bit confusing.
Exactly.
What other things do you look at when you check people's eligibility?
I also look for the days of births and marriages of their ancestors and of themselves, because different laws applied in different periods of time. So, I mean, it's pretty complicated, but it plays a role in assessing their eligibility. So I need to take a look on every detail, and it's also very useful if the clients have some documents of their ancestors and they can send it to us, although they, for example, don't understand what is written in there because in Czech or in German or any other language. And we can take a look, and it's also very useful sometimes because sometimes it's citizenship certificate and it's like a gold for us because
It's like a key to the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. We can prove to the Czech government pretty easy then the Czech heritage and also the citizenship. So definitely, if you have some Czechoslovak or Czech ancestor documents, include it into your family tree, and your chances for being eligible to Czech citizenship will be much higher for sure.
Makes things easier. But there's lots of other things, and I guess sometimes people get frustrated with the number of questions we ask of them. But we need to know if you're married, we need to know if you were adopted, we need to know which country you immigrated to. There's all kinds of information that we need because really we have very close to 100% success rate, and that is because we assess each case individually and on merit. So we look at your family history, immigration history, what documents you have, all kinds of things that make a difference. So the law in itself seems simple, but there's a lot of complexities behind the scene, right?
Yes, I understand we require a lot of information, but as you said, we need to be sure that the client is eligible, and every detail can make difference. So we really need to ask all the questions about themselves and about their ancestors to be sure that that it will be a success.
Yeah. And I think, we received amazing feedback about your work and the entire team, and just about the diligence and really attention to detail, and people feel very supported. So the reason we ask you all these questions is that because we want you to be happy at the end of the process. So I would strongly encourage anyone that's got Czech heritage and wants to pursue Czech citizenship to contact Jakub for a free assessment that we do, right?
Yes, we are doing free assessments, so you have nothing to lose. Just contact us and we will be happy to assess your case also. So
sometimes when you speak to Jakub, he discovers all kinds of things from your past that you would be surprised about. So again, we encourage everyone that has got or thinks they have Czech heritage to contact us for more information and free eligibility.
Definitely.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.